Welcome everyone, join us today as we delve into the incredible life and legacy of Ken Hensley, the legendary keyboardist, guitarist, and songwriter for Uriah Heep. From his early beginnings, his rise to fame with the band, to his profound impact on the world of rock music. So let's dive in. Kenneth William David Hensley, born the 24th of August 1945 in Plumstead, southeast London. Hensley grew up in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, as one of 5 children, with 3 brothers and 1 sister. His father, William Hensley, was the general manager of an engineering company, while his mother, Evelyn, ran an employment agency. At the age of 11, Ken began learning to play the guitar from a Burt Weedon book, laying the foundation for his musical career. He later studied the Hammond organ, an instrument with which he would become more closely associated and renowned in the world of rock music. Hensley's first gig took place in September 1960 at the Mentmore Pen Factory in Stevenage. Following this, he performed with various bands, including the Blue Notes, Ken and the Cousins, and Kit and the Saracens. By 1963, this band had evolved into the Jimmy Brown sound, with whom he recorded some now-lost songs. During this period, Hensley nearly had his first professional break when the band was slated to back Ben E. King on a British visit, but the opportunity ultimately fell through. In early 1965, Hensley formed a band called The Gods, featuring the young guitarist Mick Taylor, who would later gain fame with John Mayall and the Rolling Stones. Hensley, primarily playing the Hammond B3 organ and providing vocals, wrote most of the band's material. The Gods lineup included notable musicians such as vocalist and guitarist, bass player Greg Lake, later of King Crimson and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, bassist Paul Newton, later the first Uriah Heep bassist, drummer Lee Kerslake, later also of Uriah Heep, bassist John Glasscock, later of Jethro Tull, and guitarist Joe Konas. In early 1968, the Gods signed with Columbia Records and went on to record 2 LPs and several singles. Hensley also participated in a 1-album side project of the Gods, initially intended to be their 3rd album, which was eventually released in 1969-1970 under the moniker Head Machine's Orgasm. Produced by David Paramore, who had also produced the Gods, the album featured Hensley and Lee Kerslake, along with John Glasscock on bass, Brian Glasscock on drums, and David Paramore on vocals, all performing under pseudonyms. On this project, Hensley primarily played guitar, revisiting his early musical roots. Although Paramore was credited as the composer, the songs were heavily influenced by Hensley's style. Released before Hensley joined Tofat, Orgasm can be seen as a prototype for the harder edge that would characterize his later work with Uriah Heep. The Gods eventually disbanded, but Cliff Bennett of the Rebel Rousers decided to pursue a more progressive direction and invited the members of the Gods to join him. This collaboration resulted in the formation of the band Tofat, which released 2 LPs. However, Ken Hensley only contributed to the first of these albums before moving on to other musical endeavors. In December 1969, Paul Newton invited Hensley to join Spice, a band seeking a keyboard player to transition their sound from bluesy to more progressive, aligning with the prevailing musical trend. By January 1970, Spice had transformed into Uriah Heep, named after the character in Charles Dickens' novel David Copperfield. The band featured guitarist Mick Box and vocalist David Byron alongside Hensley and Newton. With Uriah Heep, Hensley found an ideal platform to develop and showcase his songwriting and lyrical talents, as well as his skills on both the keyboard and guitar, significantly contributing to the band's distinctive sound and success. The band's classic lineup featured Ken Hensley, David Byron, Mick Box, Lee Kerslake, and bassist Gary Thane, with management provided by Jerry Bron of Bronze Records. During Hensley's tenure with Uriah Heep from 1970 to 1980, they recorded 13 studio albums and the live album Uriah Heep Live, January 1973, along with numerous compilations and singles. During this period, Hensley also released his first 2 solo albums, Proud Words on a Dusty Shelf in 1973, and Eager to Please in 1975, with support primarily from Mark Clark and Bugs Pemberton. After the departure of bassist Gary Thane in December 1974, who would tragically die 12 months later, and vocalist David Byron, Uriah Heep brought in other talented musicians such as John Wetton, Trevor Bolder, and John Lawton, among others. With the classic Uriah Heep lineup dissolving by 1976, with Thane fired due to his heroin addiction, and Byron asked to leave as his alcohol abuse became severe. Hensley expressed discomfort with the revised lineup, stating, "One of the reasons that Heep was so successful was the chemistry between the 5 of us. When David was asked to leave, that chemistry was basically destroyed, and even more so when Gary left." In 1980, Ken Hensley left Uriah Heep, dissatisfied with their musical direction. He attempted to form a new band in the UK called Shotgun before moving to the US, where he played a few gigs as the Ken Hensley Band. During this period, he released his third solo LP, Free Spirit, in 1980. In 1982, Hensley joined Blackfoot, a hard rock band based in Florida. With them, he recorded 2 albums, Shogo in 1983, and Vertical Smiles in 1984. Despite achieving some success with Blackfoot, Hensley left the band in 1985 after learning of former Uriah Heep vocalist David Byron's death. Following his departure, Hensley lived in semi-retirement in St. Louis, Missouri, making occasional appearances with bands like Wasp and Cinderella. During this time, Hensley also owned and operated the Attic Recording Studio in St. Louis. In 1994, From Time to Time, a collection of lost recordings was released, featuring rare songs recorded by Hensley between 1971 and 1982, along with early versions of Uriah Heep's classic tracks. These recordings included contributions from notable musicians such as guitarist Paul Kossoff and drummer Simon Kirke, bassist Boz Burrell, guitarist Mick Ralphs, and drummers Ian Pace and Kenny Jones. In 1997, Hensley established the Upper Room Studios in St. Louis, Missouri, where he worked on several projects, including A Glimpse of Glory with his band Visible Faith, produced by Hensley and engineered by Chief Engineer Bud Martin. By 1999, Hensley's musical activities had begun to increase, alongside his work with St. Louis Music, leading to the recording of a new album. During the 4th Uriah Heep annual convention in London in May 2000, plans were made for a one-off concert by the Hensley-Lawton Band. This marked the first public collaboration between Ken Hensley and former Uriah Heep singer John Lawton since Lawton's departure from the band in 1979. They were joined by Paul Newton, Uriah Heep's original bassist, and 2 members of Lawton's band, Reuben Kane on lead guitar and Justin Shefford on drums. The band performed a set of old Uriah Heep classics and some of Hensley's solo songs. The concert was recorded for a CD release and was followed by an extensive tour of Europe during the spring and summer of 2001. The tour culminated in a concert on May 12 in Hamburg, Germany, featuring a full orchestra and a new rendition of Uriah Heep's classic song Salisbury. After the tour, both Hensley and Lawton returned to their respective solo careers. On December 7, 2001, Hensley and John Lawton took the stage with Uriah Heep during the annual Magician's Birthday Party at the Shepherd's Bush Empire in London, a performance recorded and released as a CD, DVD. In 2002, Hensley released Running Blind, his first album in 21 years, and embarked on a world tour with his band Free Spirit, featuring Dave Kilminster on guitar, Andy Pyle on bass, and Pete Riley on drums. After relocating to Spain, Hensley released several albums, The Last Dance, with new songs, The Wizard's Diary, Uriah Heep classics re-recorded in 2004, and Cold Autumn Sunday, Hensley's solo songs re-recorded in 2005. In May 2007, he released the rock opera Blood on the Highway, featuring special guests and portraying the rise and fall of a rock and roll star, with lead vocals shared by Hensley, Glenn Hughes, John Land, John Lawton, and Eve Gallagher. In September 2008, Hensley reunited on stage with former Heep bandmates Lawton, Lee Kerslake, and Paul Newton, along with ex-Focus guitarist Jan Dummy, for the Heepvention 2008 fan meeting. Hensley continued to write and record new albums, starting with Love and Other Mysteries, a collection of songs recorded near his home in Spain. This was followed in 2011 by Faster, his first studio album of new songs with his live band, Live Fire. In 2013, Cherry Red Records released a CD of one of his solo concerts, quickly followed by a live CD recorded with Live Fire during their September-October tour. Later that same year, Cherry Red released Trouble, an album featuring 10 new songs recorded with a revised lineup of Live Fire. Over the years, Hensley played in numerous bands and made many guest appearances. His diverse collaborations and contributions spanned various genres and included working with notable artists and groups, solidifying his legacy as a versatile and influential musician. Personally, in 2004, Hensley married his 4th wife, Monica. The couple moved to a farm near Alicante, Spain, where they kept livestock and established a charity for abandoned animals. Sadly, on November 4, 2020, following a very short and unexpected illness, Ken Hensley passed away at the age of 75, with his wife Monica by his side. Before his death, he had completed an album titled My Book of Answers, which was released posthumously on March 5, 2021. He was cremated in a private ceremony in Spain. Hensley is survived by his wife Monica and his siblings Trevor, Dawn, and Mark. And there you have it. From his early days in Stevenage to his impactful career with Uriah Heep and beyond, Hensley's music continues to inspire and resonate with fans around the world. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos just like this. Take care and bye for now.